All right, what's going on, guys? I just got done with locals here today, and I won first place with my Black Salvo Doomsday deck, obviously Edison format. I'm really happy with how this performed today, and yeah, I want to show it off once again. This is pretty much identical. I'm pretty sure it's identical to my last deck profile. I got some cool upgraded rarities, so I'm excited to show that off. So let's go ahead and get started. Running one Dark Arm Dragon, bunch of darks. This card is an absolute game winner if you're able to get it off. Yeah. One Gore's Emissary of Darkness. Triple Caius the Shadow Monarch. This is one of the MVPs of this deck. It absolutely wrecks when you're able to get his effect off. I did see pulling the rug every now and then, and that sucks. But on the bright side, my Yugioh also absolutely wrecked shop today. It is a fantastic card in this format. People are absolutely sleeping on this guy. When you're able, the only thing that's going to stop him from coming out is Solemn Judgment. That's it. So if your opponent gets lucky and is able to have a Solemn at the right time, that's the only thing that's going to stop this card. Only trap anyway. Obviously, I did run into situations where somebody would Gemini Spark or something to get over it, but overall this card is absolutely insane. It slows the game down into your favor. Your opponent just has to play around it. It's such a good card. People need to start running this more in situations where they can afford the tribute summon. All right, one Armageddon Knight. This card put in work. I'm really happy. I'm running I think the one is a perfect number for this deck, just to dump the Dokoichi. So the way you're going to be getting out Armageddon Knight is through Mystic Tomato, and then I am running the one Sangan. So yeah, Mystic Tomato is going to float into Armageddon Knight, and you're immediately going to dump the Dokoichi, and then next turn you can set up for Black Salvo. Sangan is for the tribute summon option. So if you if you don't have a Black Salvo, instead you have Caius or Yugioh, you're going to go into Sangan off of Mystic Tomato, get the tribute summon off, get a banish or the Yugioh trap stun, and search off of Sangan. This is a really, really good combo in this deck. Alright, so I'm running triple Dokoichi. Dokoichi, I love seeing this card. It's so unfortunate when you only see Black Salvo and not Dokoichi. You really want to see Dokoichi as opposed to Black Salvo first. Setting him and getting that +1 just feels so good. It's so nice to, your opponent's turn, they run over it, you get the draw one, they end the turn, and you get another draw for your draw phase. It's just you just feel you're in such a good situation. People need to start taking advantage of +1s, or draw ones rather, in this format, because it is so nice. And I'm running triple Black Salvo. I'm still considering possibly dropping this down to 2, but this is my only tuner other than Plague Spreader. So I think I want to keep it at 3. Let me know what you guys think. I think it worked out really well. It's just sometimes you're going to see this without Dokoichi, and it's just a dead card in your hand until you're able to get him out into the graveyard. So, all right. Running, like I said, the one Plague Spreader Zombie. This is another target for Armageddon Knight if you already have your Dokoichis in the graveyard, so it's just a nice option. Double Battle Faders. This card is so good in this deck. I think 2 is the correct ratio. You're able to just end the battle phase at key times, and it's there for a tribute summon. It put in work for me. I really like this card in here. And then finally for the monsters, double Cyber Valley, another card that works really well in this deck. I've had so many instances where I brain control or mind control the opponent's monster, banish both these, get the draw 2, or I do it on my token to get the draw too. So definitely an awesome card. And then the stall aspect is nice as well. It kind of acts like a second to Koichi, where you can normal him out and then use his primary effect to end the battle phase and get a +1. Alrighty. Spells. So for spells, I'm running 1 Allure of Darkness. Nothing but darks in this deck other than the Cyber Valley. Brain Control. Brain Control put in a lot of work today when I saw it. 1 Heavy Storm. 1 Lightning Vortex. This is basically like just 2 options to completely wipe your opponent's field. I don't mind the discard 1 for Lightning Vortex. It worked out really well. Yeah. Excuse me. I got the 1 Mind Control, double Book of Moon, 1 Enemy Controller. This actually put in a lot of work. Occasionally I would use it just as a defensive card to just switch your opponent's battle position to defense mode, but most of the time I do tribute summon off the token that I spawned from Fires of Doomsday to take over a monster, and then, like I said, I'll use it with Cyber Valley, or I'll just tribute it off. This card is absolutely amazing in this deck. MST for your obviously staple. And then, like I said, the Spice Tech in this deck that worked out really well. Triple Fires of Doomsday. Super happy with this card. It worked out really well. Nobody was expecting it. They didn't know how to play around it too much other than to just crash into the tokens. But yeah, I mean, it's not a complicated card. The strategy's not too complicated around it, but it works so well in this deck. I constantly was getting off either level 8 synchros or tributing off one of the tokens for Caius or Jinzo. So I'm super happy with this card in here. And 3 is the proper number to have in here. And then finally for traps, nothing changed here. Just double bottomless trap hole, double dimensional prison, Mirror Forest, Torrential Tribute. So I think that I might want to add like maybe 1 more trap. I did see a trap pretty consistently that allowed me to stall out my opponent long enough or hold them back long enough to where I can pop off. So I think that 6 is fine for this deck. Going to the extra deck, let's see here. I got these backwards, but whatever. Chimera Tech, Fortress Dragon. I don't think I went into him. Did I go into him? I can't remember. No, that wasn't this locals. No, I didn't go into him at all. But he's there just in case. You know, your Machina matchups or whatever. Mistworm, I went into him a couple times. It's actually insane how consistently you can go into this card. Now, whether you actually want to, just because you can, I had a couple instances where I could have gone into this card, but I opted for the level 8 play and then just leaving the extra token there. But he's really nice. It's really nice that this deck is able to go into him pretty consistently. Colossal Fighter. I don't know if that came up. Thought Ruler came up a couple times. Stardust Dragon, that's an obvious MVP in this deck. You're a lot of times just going to go into him. Red Dragon Archfiend. Dark End Dragon. This guy wins games sometimes if you're able to get him off in the right moment. And you're able to get him off because, like I said, everything is dark in here. So your tokens are dark, Dekoichi and Black Salvo are dark, so it's really easy to go into him. For your level 7s, Black Rose Dragon, Power Tool Dragon, X-Saber Urbellum, Ancient Fairy Dragon, level 6s, Yugioh, Bryonic. I rarely went into those guys. You really only have those just in case you have out the Plague Spreader and the Mystic Tomato or Armageddon Knight. And then Allied Justice, I don't think I went into him. And Armory Arm, that's for the tokens, for your Battle Fader, plus your Plague Spreader. I never went into him either. but it's there just in case. And as for the extra deck actually worked out really well in this local scene right now. I got double Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend shuts down certain decks, especially trap-heavy decks, or I'm sorry, decks that aren't trap-heavy. You literally just swap Jinzo for this guy, and the deck functions precisely the same, except for it literally shuts down your opponents from doing anything until they can get over this. Double Cyber Dragon. I like this card in here. You have to be careful about it because obviously your monsters are Machine, Dekoichi, and Black Salvo. So if you leave him out, that can be a problem. So that's just something to consider. But yeah, no, I think I sided him out a couple times, but he didn't really. It is nice every now and then when you do see the Caius or the Jinzo in your hand, and then you can just special him out and tribute him for one of those two right away. But, you know, nothing crazy. DD Warrior Lady. This card is really, really nice in this deck. Your opponent, most of the time, after game one, they're just going to assume anything you put face down is Dekoichi. So you can play some mind games, force them to run into this with a powerful monster, and they're going to cry about it when they banish their Stardust or whatever. For the last of the monsters, double DD Crow. Just a nice card to have against certain matchups, heroes and whatnot, banishing key cards in the graveyard. Again, another dark. Alright, and the remaining cards, I have the third Book of Moon in here. I might swap this out for something else. There's a couple instances where I threw this in. I don't know how effective that was, but again, I really like this for the defensive Dekoichi plays and getting an additional +1 off of it. But My Body as a Shield. This card came in clutch a couple times. Yeah, just protecting your monsters. I'm not running Starlight Road, which I might try and squeeze that into the main deck. I'm not sure, but this basically acts as a worse Starlight Road, or more versatile Starlight Road, rather. I think I activated once against a Smashing Ground on my Jinzo, so yeah. This card worked really well. I'm sick of hero beat running around. I cited this specifically for mostly that matchup. I want to shut down Gemini Spark. I want to shut down Miracle Fusion, and this card does that easily. So 2 is a perfect number for it. You just swap this in and hope you see it at the right time. And as long as you have a spell to discard, that's the only stipulation with this card that is kind of holding it back from being better. If it was just a pure discard, it would be so much better. But needing to discard a spell made it a little annoying, especially since I'm not running that many spells, and the spells I am running, you know, other than maybe I discarded my Fires of Doomsday a couple times, and was happy to do so. You know, you don't always need those 2 tokens out. So, but when it did go off, it went off. Like, you flip this, it's a counter trap. That's another thing people need to start understanding, is that counter traps in this meta, or in this format, are so good. Essentially ends the chain unless they have a counter trap themselves. So they can't chain anything to this. So, or they're likely not going to be able to. So Spell Speed 3 cards need to start being taken more advantage of, in my opinion. I flip this against a Miracle Fusion or a Gemini Spark, they're done. No more Miracle Fusions, no more Gemini Sparks for the entire game. And for grinder games, that is a huge deal, shutting those 2 options out. Miracle, or what's it called, Absolute Zero, I do not have to worry about getting over that. Like, that's insane with this card. And then there's other instances, other decks where they have multiples of that you're. It's just such a good card. I was reading it for a second there. Sorry. Yeah, such a good card. So I don't own Pulling the Rug. It's just an expensive card, and I'm not trying to spend like $30 for it. I'm just hoping that it eventually gets reprinted in Speed Duel. So my kind of not alternative. I know Divine Wrath is kind of like an alternate. card to Divine, or to, what is it called, to Pulling the Rug. It's like a cheaper version of it. But I decided to play Dark Illusion, so 2 of these. I feel like this is a decent option in this deck. Like I said, everything is dark, so any spell or trap that targets a dark monster on the field, obviously mainly you're going to be, it's going to be against your targeted monsters. You just negate the activation, destroy it. So things like Caius, if they summon out a Caius and target one of my monsters to remove it, this is basically acts as Pulling the Rug. Gemini Spark, I can flip this and they're not getting that draw. They just lost 2 cards. Yeah, there's a couple other instances where it came up. It's I think it's cool. I think if there were more cards that targeted, it would be even better. But it's a nice card, especially again for being a counter trap, and for this deck being entirely dark monsters. And then finally, my last card that I'm running in here is just 1 Solemn Judgment. I tried to put this in the main deck if I just want to have another option to say no to something powerful that they are running, then I'll throw this back in. So that's the deck, guys. Yeah, I'm really satisfied with how this turned. How the deck build turned out, how I did performing today. I really am. Satisfied with it. Let me know what you guys think, what suggestions you would make, and whatever. I'll let you guys know if I have any other kind of results I want to tell you about. But until then, take care.